Hi, welcome to this session. In this session, we will be dealing with Marxist aesthetics. Marxism as a school of thought was based on the ideas that were propagated jointly by Karl Marx, a German philosopher, and Friedrich Engels, a German sociologist. They themselves called their economic theories communism rather than Marxism. The aim of Marxism was to create a classless society based on the common ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange. It is basically a materialistic philosophy. That is, it does not believe in the existence of a world beyond the physical world. For them, history is class struggle, where one social class exercises its power over the other, which results in conflict, bringing about a change in the very social and economic structure of the society. In the work Communist Manifesto, Marx gives a detailed account of how the bourgeois evolved during the time of industrialization, exploiting the working class. The result of this exploitation was alienation, a state where the worker was de-skilled and was made to perform fragmented or repetitive tasks, of which he or she had no overall grasp. For him, this alienation is facilitated by the superstructure, which is in turn regulated by the base. Marx and Engels have excellent knowledge of world literature and art, and loved painting and music. It is believed that during their youth, they both wrote poems, and Engels, at one point, aspired to become a poet himself. In fact, Marx and Engels did not put forward an comprehensive theory of aesthetics, but they maintained the view that an artist or a writer's social class or his or her prevailing ideology have a major bearing on his or her work. Instead of seeing them as autonomous, inspired beings whose genius and unmatched imagination enables them to bring forth original and timeless works of art, Marxism views them as individuals formed by the social context in which they are placed. For them, art is political. Here, art should not just provide a faithful representation of reality, but must try to improve them. An alienated society can never produce a beautiful piece of work unless communism has been established. Idealist aesthetics considered art as a reproduction of the ideal, that is, a world beyond our own existence. This isolation of man from his own social existence was something which the Marxist aestheticians could not ever comprehend. In short, one can say that they repudiated the notion of art for art's sake. Marx and Engels considered it absolutely impossible to imbibe any art form as proceeding from its own inner essence. They gave a materialistic explanation to the origin of aesthetics itself. They noted that man's artistic abilities, his capacity for perceiving the world aesthetically, for comprehending its beauty, and for creating works of art appeared as a result of the long development of human society and was the product of man's labor. Another important aspect of Marxist aesthetics is the fact that even when one argues about the nature of art being a reflection of the social reality, Marxists believed in the relative autonomy of art. They believed that the art would survive and retain its value even when the social structures disappear. Here, the art remained in a strict opposition to the capitalistic production, resulting in a contradiction between these two forces, that is, the art and the material production. The more conscious artists are of this contradiction between their ideals and the capitalist reality, the louder and the clearer do their works, often despite the class origin of the very author, protest against the inhumanity of capitalist relations. This may be the reason why the very artists belonging to the bourgeois society were able to rise above the constraints of the capitalist society and condemned with immense artistic power the vices of capitalist relations. The founders of Marxist aesthetics relied on art as a powerful tool in enabling an ideological struggle between classes. While analyzing the nature of art and literature, Marx and Engels were more concerned about the problems of realism, which was believed to provide an accurate depiction of reality. They consider realism as the most supreme achievement of world art. For them, it is not the mere copy of reality, but penetrates into the essence of a phenomenon, disclosing the very minute traits of a particular age. Engels traced the development of realism in the works of Gabe de Maupassant, in the creators of the Russian realist novel of the second half of the 19th century, and in Norway's contemporary dramatists. Marx and Engels had a lively interest in Russia and attached great importance to the Russian revolutionary movement. According to them, the period of Renaissance marked an age of revolution where the great figures associated with Renaissance were not only scholars, poets, or artists, but great revolutionaries in the field of science and culture. For Engels, the most vital quality of these figures was that they almost all live and pursue their activities in the midst of the contemporary movements, in the practical struggle. They take sides and join in the fight, one by speaking and writing, another with the sword, many with both. Here, art and literature becomes essentially political. Both Marx and Engels considered Dante as an important figure whose works declared the transition from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance period. They believed that his works saw the flowering of artistic genius, but at the same time were inseparable from his political ideals and aspirations. Unlike previous historians of culture who were unable to understand the class content of ideas, Marx and Engels uncovered the social, class, historical basis of the ideas of 18th century Enlightenment. They showed that the Enlightenment was not just a movement in social thought, but an ideological expression of the interest of the progressive bourgeois, which was rising up to struggle against feudal absolutism on the eve of Great French Revolution. They believed that the labor freed from exploitation can only become the source of spiritual and aesthetic creativity. And this can be realized only when there is socialism, that is, true economic, political, and social freedom. Marx and Engels declared that only a proletariat revolution would be able to bring about a full realization of human morals and aesthetic value. The following are some of the key figures in Marxist aesthetics. Walter Benjamin. He was a German Jewish philosopher and cultural critic. He was associated with the Frankfurt School and was closely linked with the playwright Bertolt Brecht and the Kabbalah scholar Gershom Scholem. His important essays include The Task of the Translator, published in 1923, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction, published in 1936, and Thesis on the Philosophy of History, published in 1940. His works provide a new angle to the interpretation of art and technology. The introduction of photography and film during the 20th century was often viewed with anxiety and suspicion, but he explores the possibility that are opened up. In other words, he looks at the democratizing nature of these technological innovations. Theodor Adorno. He was a philosopher, sociologist, and known for his critical theory of society. The term culture industry is associated with him. His major works include Dialectic of Enlightenment, published in 1947, Minima Moralia, published in 1951, and Negative Dialectics, published in 1966, which influenced the European New Left. In the work Dialectic of Enlightenment, Jointly published by Marx, Horkheimer, and Adorno, they attempted to demonstrate that the Enlightenment embodied a tension between its own project of liberation and its own new mechanisms of oppression and domination. His posthumously published Aesthetic Theory focuses on the social character of modern art. The two main questions raised by him in this work is that whether art would be able to survive in the late capitalistic society and whether the art can contribute to the transformation of the society. By posing these questions, he formulates his philosophy of art. Herbert Camus. He was a German-American philosopher, sociologist, and political theorist who was closely associated with Frankfurt School. For him, modern technology, capitalism, and entertainment culture are nothing but new forms of social control. He was greatly influenced by Walter Benjamin. His best-known works include Eros and Civilization, published in 1955, and One-Dimensional Man, published in 1964. His critical theory is often dialectical as it examines the modern means of oppression and subjugation along with the potential of liberation. In an essay entitled Some Social Implications of Modern Technology written in 1941, Marcuse makes an important distinction between technology and techniques. Antonio Gramsci. He was an Italian neo-Marxist theorist and politician. The term cultural hegemony is associated with him. Writing while imprisoned in a fascist jail, Gramsci was concerned with how power works. The dominant view maintained by the practitioners of Marxism during the time was that in order to attain power, one needs to seize the means of production and administration. But Gramsci differed from this line of thought as he believed that one cannot attain power just by doing so, but firmly believed that a new society can be forged only by creating a new consciousness among the people through the agency of culture. Here, culture appears innocent, but for Gramsci, culture is highly political. His prison notebooks, published in between 1929 and 35, a series of essays written during his imprisonment, were a great contribution to the political theory of the time. Louis Althusser. He was a French Marxist philosopher. His theory of ideology provides the foundation of a number of aesthetic studies. He himself has written 3 short essays on art, and his theory has been used by Terry Eagleton and Macquarie in their more developed aesthetic theories. In these essays, Althusser tries to explore the art-ideology relationship. Instead of concentrating on the role played by ideology in creating a consciousness among its subjects, he looks at art as a means to change individuals' consciousness. His essay, Ideology and Ideological State Apparatus, which was published in 1969, has received wide attention. Fredric Jameson. He is an American literary critic and Marxist political theorist. He has published a wide range of works analyzing literary and cultural texts and developing his own neo-Marxist theoretical position. His major works are The Prison House of Language, published in 1972, Fables of Expression, Wicham Lewis, The Modernist as Fascist, published in 1979, The Political Unconscious, Narrative as a Socially Symbolic Act, published in 1981, and Postmodernism or the Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism, published in 1991. His collection of essays dealing with the critique of visual culture and films include Signatures of the Visible, published in 1991, and The Geopolitical Aesthetic, published in 1992. Another important key figure is Terry Eagleton. He is a prominent British literary theorist, critic, and intellectual. His work, Ideology of Aesthetics, presents a critique of the concept of aesthetics. As such, this is a critical survey of modern Western philosophy. focusing in particular on the complex relations between aesthetics, ethics, and politics. Let us summarize this session. Marxist aesthetics provided a materialistic view to art and literature. Art was conceived primarily as embodying the ideology of an age in which it was produced. At the same time, it is seen as possessing a relative autonomy. According to Marxist aestheticians, alienation serves as an important aspect of art and literature. Industrialization and capitalism created a condition where the workers got completely fragmented, a condition where they were forced to do repetitive work without having any individual role. They believed that the more a work is successful in rendering the alienation inherent in an age, the closer it is to reality. I would like to suggest some assignments based on this session. Marxism is primarily based on the materialistic view of world. Elaborate. In your opinion, to what extent have realism influenced the Marxian ideology? Ideology and hegemony are two key concepts in Marxist aesthetics. Explain. How have Adorno and Horkheimer interpreted the notion of culture and industry in the Enlightenment age? Technology has always been looked upon with suspicion. What was the stand of Marxist philosophers towards this new venture? Now, I would like to suggest some references. The Communist Manifesto, written by Marx and Friedrich Engels, published by Oxford University Press in 1992. The Marxist Theory of Art, written by Gordon Graham, published in British Journal of Aesthetics in 1997. The Work of Art in an Age of Mechanical Reproduction, written by Walter Benjamin, published in 2008 by Penguin Books. Marxism and Art, Essays in Classic and Contemporary, edited by Maynard Solomon, published in 1979 by Vintage Books. Thank you for listening to this session. I hope that it was useful.